my God, I cannot believe that I have not done this recipe yet. This is one of my favorite recipes to make at home. Today I'm going to show you how I make my homemade pizza at home pizza. Pizza at home, homemade pizza. Here we go. So starting off, obviously, we're going to start with the dough, and we're going to start with some sugar, water, and some yeast. Now, I use pizza yeast because I really like the way that it turns out at the end of the day. However, if you were just trying this recipe to see how it works for your family, see if it's something you want to do on a regular basis, if you feel like you just want to use, or if that's all you have, is regular instant yeast at home, that works as well. It does change the consistency of the dough a little bit, makes it more bready, less doughy. That's not what I meant to say. It makes it more less pizza-y. I don't know. I'm actually not sure the science behind it, but I do find a difference in pizza yeast versus regular yeast. I guess that is something that I should look up. So, according to Google, it says pizza yeast contains dough conditioners that make the dough easier to stretch and shape for an iconic pizza base shape. And that is essentially the difference between the two types of yeast. Dough made with regular yeast will pull itself back after being stretched, whereas pizza dough will not. So basically, if you make this pizza dough at home and you're finding that it is not actually listening to you as far as getting into the shape that you want it to, then maybe change it to your other kind of yeast. However, if you want to make this pizza at home with regular yeast, and I have used this exact recipe with just regular instant yeast before, it works just fine. You're probably just going to find that you need a little bit more patience with it. That's about all. In addition to those ingredients, I also added flour, some salt, and a little bit of olive oil. This pizza dough then is placed on the oven to rest and rise for 30 minutes. During that 30 minutes, what you're going to want to do is turn on your oven. If you have a pizza steel or a pizza stone, you want to put that in the oven. That was a sentence that was going around the corner. You want to put the pizza steel or your pizza stone in the oven so that it can preheat with the oven and get nice and warm ready for your pizza. If you don't have a pizza steel or a pizza stone, I have heard of people using a cookie sheet put upside down and using it in the same sort of a way. I have not tested that theory yet myself, but if you do, please let me know how that works out. Either way, you do want your oven heating up while you are doing the rest of the stuff. For example, you want your dough rising, you're going to be grating cheese, cutting vegetables, doing whatever it is that you're going to be doing and putting on top of your pizza, all while the oven is heating up. Now, a lot of the time when we do baking, we always hear preheat your oven, and that is correct. However, when you are making pizza, you want to not only preheat your oven, you want your oven to be at that temperature for at least, I'd say, around 10 to 15 minutes before you actually bake your first pizza. That makes sure that your pizza stone is nice and hot and that your oven is at a consistent all around temperature. Baking pizza itself doesn't actually take that long. So adding this extra step is really going to ensure that you have a great tasting pizza. When I first started making this recipe, I was making my pizzas directly onto a cookie sheet. I had parchment paper. Sometimes I was using a silicone mat on my cookie sheet, and it worked out just fine. The pizza was delicious either way. You don't need the cornmeal if you're going to do that, and you don't need any flour. However, one year for Christmas, I received a pizza stone and I am never going back. If you have, and actually what I have is a pizza steel, which is basically cast iron that you put in the oven. If you have an opportunity to get one or you have one of these things, I highly recommend using it. Learning the technique to the pizza peel itself does take a little bit of trial and error. I'm not going to freaking lie to you about that one. The first couple of times that I tried to use my pizza peel, I may or may not have lost a few pizzas in the oven and had a few ingredients end up burning at the bottom of my oven. But it was all about trial and error. If you can learn anything from me, what you want to do is you want to get yourself some cornmeal. As you can see here, Cornmeal is giving my son time to add his own toppings. Whereas if you were to use flour, which is a perfectly reasonable way to go as well, you need to work with speed with flour. Flour tends to soak into the dough if you allow it to sit for too long, which then makes the pizza stick to your steel. And when you go to shimmy that thing into your oven onto your pizza steel, it is not going to go anywhere and you are just going to lose toppings everywhere, which creates a huge mess, bad smells, and nobody wants to go there. Once I discovered cornmeal and how much easier that makes my life, I am never going back. Never ever going back. And it's amazing too how different the house smells when you are baking your pizza on a pizza steel with cornmeal or flour. There's a total different smell that happens in the house. The written instructions for both methods will be available in the link description below, as well as on my website. I have the first way that I used to do it back in the day with a cookie sheet, which was delicious. It got us so addicted to homemade pizza. And a modified recipe, which is what happens when I started using the pizza steel and any of the written instructions that I have for that. Now we get into the good part. Now that my kids are done making their pizza with their boring pepperoni and cheese, which actually, now that I say that, sometimes a very classic pepperoni cheese pizza is the way to go. Very, very basic, sometimes is the most delicious. However, one of my favorite things about making pizza at home is that you get to experiment and have some fun with different toppings. For example, if it wasn't for us making pizza at home, I would have never discovered how freaking delicious dill pickles on pizza can be. And if you have yet to try dill pickles on your pizza, I highly recommend it. I actually can't even recommend it high enough. I am obsessed with pickles on my pizza. The first time we ever did it, of course, we only tried with a few pickles just so we didn't ruin the whole pizza. And now I load as many pickles that the pizza can hold. That is another great thing about making pizza at home is you're not going to be charged per topping. Whatever it is that you have in your fridge, in your cupboards, in your kitchen that you want to put on your pizza, you want to put some garlic oil on there, some chili oil on there, mushrooms, olives, anything you have in your house that you want to put on your pizza, you can do it without an extra charge. Some of my favorite things to keep on hand, especially since they have a great shelf life, is jarred olives, mushrooms, peppers. We love to use leftovers if we have pulled pork or chicken from the night before. Occasionally, we'll cook up some bacon, use some pepperoni, some ham, some lunch meat. Quite honestly, the sky's the limit. In fact, I would be very curious if you could let me know in the comments below, what do you put on your pizza? What do you order? And what would you put on your pizza if you were to make it yourself at home? A while back, I was watching a TikTok where somebody had mentioned that they used corn on the cob. I guess they pulled it off the cob, but they actually put cobbed corn on their pizza. Once I investigated a little bit more, it turns out that's actually a very common thing from where they were from. I feel like pizza is such a universal thing that everybody has their own spin to it. So please let me know what yours is, because after years and years of making pizza at home, I feel like our topping scale has kind of gotten a little boring. We usually use the same toppings every time because it's what we have and it's what we like. So if you can give me some suggestions on things to try, different sauces, different toppings, different cheeses, whatever it is that you could suggest, I would be ever so grateful. I noticed recently that I have a few more subscribers, so I want to say thank you to my new subscribers. I am so happy to see you here. I am such a small account right now that when I get a subscriber, I get the notification on my phone and it literally makes my day. As a very small channel, I can guarantee you that every subscription, every like, every comment I see, I am obsessed with, and I'm so happy to see any of these notifications come up on my phone. Honestly, if you decided to give me a hate comment, I would still be happy because, you know, I had a notification on my phone. I'm really just living my best life right now, is what I'm saying. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up if you liked this video, of course, and leave me a comment and let me know what kind of recipes it is that you'd like me to try next. As I said before, this recipe, but also many, many other recipes I've done in the past will be available on my website. The description will have a link available for you. Just go to sweetsavoryspice.com. And of course, to keep more up to date on the things that I'm doing as I'm doing them, make sure that you follow me on all my other social medias and you can see more day to day basis of what's going on and what's to come on my YouTube channel. On here, I post every Monday and Wednesday a food video as well as a vlog at the end of the week to wrap up everything and show you how it is that everything comes together in the end. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give it the thumbs up. And I hope you try to make pizza at home. Thanks for stopping by.